with our currently with the deliver performance, and we see 10x safer than the human driver. And we also have data because each vehicle is similar. The government regulation require you to purchase pretty high insurance for each vehicle. Each vehicle we covered by 5 million yuan. It's much higher than if you just personal vehicle for the insurance. Our claim for accident is 1/14, so it's only 7%. That means human driver have a 14x more of accident.
Helen K. is the general manager of Apollo Autonomous Driving USA, Baidu's self-driving division. Since joining Baidu's intelligent driving group in 2017, she has led U.S. autonomous technology development from concept to manufacturing and fleet operations. Before Baidu, she held technical and leadership roles at Waymo, Google X, Intel, and Keysight, working on autonomous systems, satellite and UAV communications, wireless tech, and RF instruments. Helen holds a master's in electrical and computer engineering from the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign and is an award-winning author and inventor with 20 plus patents. Helen, how are you doing today? Awesome. Well, I'm excited to have you. I know you spoke at Ride AI and a couple conferences lately, but today we get you all to ourselves and we get to really dive into what I think is one of the most interesting companies in the autonomous vehicle space, and that is Apollo Go. Is that the actual technical name of the company? Is it Apollo Go?
Oh, I would say that's the internal project name called Apollo Go. Yeah.
Got it. So what do customers that are hailing a ride in China, what do they call the service?
Only
How was my Chinese?
yes. Yeah, it's a Chinese, so let's just call Apollo Go. The English name is also Apollo Go. Yeah.
Got it. And so Apollo Go is a subsidiary of Baidu. Can you talk a little bit about maybe a little background on Baidu and then how Apollo Go fits into that broader structure of the company so we have background?
Okay, that's great. So actually, I'll give a little introduction about Apollo Go and Baidu. And
Sure.
Baidu was founded in 2000 as a search engine platform, and we were an early adapter of AI in 2010 to make content discovery on the internet easier. We are one of the very few companies in the world that offer a full AI stack up, from the AI infrastructure to models and applications. And Apollo Go is Baidu's autonomous ride-hailing service. And we developed the first generation of robotaxi back in 2013 and started to provide the robotaxi service in China since 2019. Last year, we put the latest generation RT6 into operation, and starting the February of this year, all our ride-hail service is driverless.
Wow, nice. So obviously, kind of for the folks that are in the United States, especially, I think there's a lot of parallels to Google and Waymo, with obviously, Waymo being spun out of Google. Are there any sort of interesting observations there, or is it sort of just, the Chinese version of Google and Waymo? What do you think about that kind of comparison?
I think we are fitting a different market. Yeah,
Mhm.
Waymo currently mainly focus on the US. Actually,
Right.
they have an early expansion in Japan market as
Mhm.
well. And but for Baidu and Apollo, we actually focus on Chinese market. And both market is huge. It's really a large market.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the actual product that's on the ground today. Where can I hail? I think you mentioned since February, all rides in Apollo Go are driverless, and I'm guessing customers have to pay for them, but maybe not. So can you give us a little background? Where is Apollo Go operating the paid driverless rides? How many cities? I know you guys have shared some stats too around the fleet size and the trips per week. So whatever you want to share there to give background would be helpful.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, let me give you some, walk through some of the achievements the team has achieved so far.
Sure.
Actually, we are the largest operator of robot taxi in China, with
Mhm.
a decade extensive R&D in autonomous driving since 2013. And Apollo Go also deployed more than 1,000 fully driverless vehicle globally and expanded in presence in 15 cities. And we have achieved 100%, as mentioned, in operation since February 2025 this year, and also providing over 11 million public rides as May 2025, and more than 1.4 million rides in the first quarter of the 2025, up 75% from a year earlier. And leveraging this advanced driverless technology and rich experience with
Mhm.
operating robotaxi for significant global expansion this year. Outside the mainland China, In November 2024, Apollo Go became the first company to receive robotaxi testing license in Hong Kong. And Hong Kong actually very unique. It's right side driver, which
Oh.
is a
Is
completely
it left side driver in China?
Yes, like US.
So like the US, and then right side is like the UK, for example.
UK, exactly. Like UK, Japan, Australia. Actually, you would be surprised. They are actually address robot globally 1/3 the market. 2/3 market is left side. Yeah, it's dominating, which is happening in US and China. But on the other hand, the right hand is quite significant market, not a small market. So, which is this is a good experience for us. But also for enable in the long runs for the complete driverless. Actually, it doesn't matter it's right side or left side. Only the traffic rule is really matters because we are we are passenger only, right? Rider only. So
Yeah, that's a good point.
that's kind of, you can make the vehicle agnostically. Yeah. And yeah, in April 2025, Apollo Go obtained permission to conduct open road testing and in Hong Kong. Until our updated pilot license also allow us to have the freedom to expanding route, more vehicles and trial journeys with designated passenger. So that's actually really good, expansion in Hong Kong. And from there will be exactly like you mentioned, and will be providing us all the experience if we want extending to the right side direct market like UK, Japan, and Australia or any others. As
So
well.
the 15 cities you mentioned, are those all within China? The 15 cities that you're operating in?
Like not only in China, like in Dubai, we also have Dubai.
Oh,
like
okay.
Apollo
So those are
Go,
all of the cities that Apollo Go is in currently in China and Hong Kong,
Hong Kong, Dubai, and Abu Dhabi. I'll talk a little bit, right now.
Sure.
Yeah, in Dubai, actually, we also partnered with the Road and the Transportation Authority in Dubai to launch driving testing and service in the city. We'll deploy the first 100 fully autonomous RT6 robotaxi in Dubai. We'll plan to do this year. And eventually, we would like to scale up to 1,000 vehicles. And in just last month, May, Apollo Go commenced open road validation testing in Dubai. And also in Abu Dhabi, Apollo Go partners with UAE-based AutoGo to roll out the city's largest driverless fleet. During the initial period, Apollo Go and AutoGo will just collaborate to deploy dozens of the autonomous vehicles in Abu Dhabi. And with the phase expansion planned ahead for commercial operation by 2026 next year.
Yeah, that all that background is really helpful, and I think it sounds like the company is on a very fast-moving, high growth trajectory. I think that was one of the reasons why I was so excited to have you on. And we've been covering Apollo Go in the newsletter recently. I think you also announced maybe the fleet size was around 1,000 vehicles back in May, and doing, like you mentioned, over 100,000 trips per week. So the scale is quite large, and I want to focus a little bit on the Chinese market to start, because I'm guessing that is where a majority of your rides are happening today, where you obviously got started. Before we dive into some of the specifics and the operations there, can you give a kind of a set the landscape? What is the Chinese AV market like right now? I mean, there are a couple players, I'm guessing, and do you think that it's early, middle, late? Like, how do you look at the Chinese AV market for maybe those who, like me, who really don't have any insight, any idea, never been there?
Okay. Yeah, hopefully I can give you some the picture about the China market. Actually, China's autonomous driving vehicle sector started early and hosts actually multiple viable players. It's still very evolving very rapidly, with strong players not only performing well domestically, also they are starting to expanding internationally. The momentum is really exciting as it helps drive broader adaptation, accessibility as autonomous mobility in everyday life. And we are excited to be on this journey. We also see more cities and local partners actively embracing innovative public service like robotaxi. This creates a big window of opportunity for us to scale faster than ever. And looking ahead, we see a vast market opportunity ready to be unlocked. Recent Goldman Sachs actually predict what will happen by 2030. In China alone, they're expecting about 500,000 of the robotaxi operating in more than 10 cities. And the number of driverless ride-hailing vehicles in the country will expected to grow even more than 700 times in the next years. So China is a pretty big market. Yeah.
And do you think there's more potential for the robotaxi market to be bigger in China or the US?
I would say this one. In terms of numbers of vehicles, China will be bigger.
Yeah,
But if
because there's
term
more
of
people, right?
there's more people, yeah, it's a lot more. It's 1.4 billion compared
Yeah,
to 0.3 or 0.4 billion in
right.
US. So the size is really matters. But on the other hand, in terms of the revenue of the total car, it's different. In China, the taxi collecting roughly cost about 2.6 per kilometer, equivalent to the rate what we see here is 0. Depending the conversion rate, roughly about $0.6 per mile.
Right. Can you say
So
that one more time? What's the comparison?
a comparison. No, I'm thinking in China, the taxi cost, just the human driver
Sure.
taxi cost today, roughly converting to the US dollar wise is roughly about $0.6
Okay.
per
So 60
yeah
cents per kilometer.
per
Okay,
per
which
mile
per
yeah
mile. Okay, so
per
60
mile
cents per mile, which is, yeah, you're right. It's pretty low. I think most taxi drivers here in the US charge $2 to $3 per
exactly
mile, right?
yeah.
Okay.
So which is you add up together, maybe the market size equivalent.
Okay. Yeah, I know a lot of projections, but no, I think that is helpful because that is more of a quantitative measure, right? That there's less revenue per trip, for example. Like I think we just featured, New York City, for
More
example, is one of
trips.
the top is the top ride hail market in the world. And there's a lot of data there. I believe it's the average fare is $32 in New York City, right? Where it's a little bit atypical for Uber and Lyft there. And then my last question on the Chinese market are, of the 1.4 billion in the country, we know that a lot of the rides, for these ride hail and AV services happen in the cities. Are most of the population these days in the cities, or how does that break down? And maybe you can talk a little bit about the cities that Apollo Go is operating in China. I'm guessing it's some of the bigger cities.
Yeah, actually, we're very fortunate to get because this is still very early stage of technology. You
Mm,
need to work heavily with the government to earning the public trust
yeah.
for this new technology, right? The safety is our top priority. Is from the beginning back to 12 years ago in 2013 when we started this one. We want to be a responsible of a technology provider. So we want to make sure all the technology developed from ground up is have safety as our principle. So
Mhm.
which with that, and then we are very fortunate, and China has the Wuhan region, the government is agreed to provide us the citywide operation. So
Mm,
we cover roughly about 3,000 kilometers square area and address the more than 9 million population in there. And
mm.
then we providing daily ride in there. And that's very exciting. Since this kind of scale of operation really to help us to advance our technology and find out all the, fix all the
Yeah.
issues and deliver the demand for the consumer. Yeah.
So would you say Wuhan is your biggest market, or what is your biggest market in China?
I would say the Wuhan currently is the biggest operating regions.
Got it. And what are some of the other big cities that you're operating in China?
We operate to like Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, all of them we have operations. But also, I think in Wuhan, they offered a citywide operation, complete
Okay.
citywide. Yeah.
Oh, complete citywide. Very cool. And then in Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou, it might be more of a limited area.
Yeah. And that's not only for it's for all the companies, same.
Okay, got it. And that is more a function of the government rules and regulations that you're operating in a smaller area in those cities, whereas Wuhan, it sounds like they're opening it up to AVs all over the city. Does that sound right?
Yeah, yeah. They are more pioneer in this.
Oh,
You
okay,
have to
interesting.
imagine, you don't need, like US, you don't need all the cities and to open up to it. You have
Right.
this some city open up to it, and then everybody will know what is really going on and what is really happened. I think it's good for, earning the public trust,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And Apollo Go, the company, is based in which city?
Oh, we are headquartered in Beijing.
Oh, okay. Got it. Well, you mentioned the reception of the population in China. I'm kind of guessing that they love it because it sounds like you're doing a lot of rides. I feel like everyone, every week in our newsletter, we feature, I think we call it cool first rides because it's, every single week, people are taking rides. And I think the experience is very magical. Your first time in an AV. What's the public reception been like in China for, AVs in general and, autonomous rides?
Yeah, actually, China is a unique market.
Hmm.
And because in the past, I think 20 or 30 years, the country itself changed a lot.
Mm,
So the population and the folks in China actually more adaptable for changes,
mm,
adaptable to the new technology. And
yeah.
which is, I think it's good, for us to introduce this new technology. And also, calling robot Apollo Go, it's quite a simple experience, just like you're ordering a Uber. You have an app from your cell phone and you just go call it. And with our Apollo Go app online, which is you can, either on mini program or WeChat, you can just hail a taxi. So it's very easy. Just, couple finger away, type in, and you can get it.
Yeah. Oh,
And
so how do users actually call? Like, what is the main method? Is it through WeChat? And I think, maybe for those, it's the sort of chatting super app, right, in China, right? For those who don't know.
Yeah. We just had the entry in there. So you can just download the Apollo Go app from the, any app store, and Mac is Mac app store, and you can from Android app store, and you can just find it and just download it. And that program just solely for it's like Uber or Lyft.
So nothing too unique about actually calling for a ride in China. You either do it on the app or through WeChat, and just like you would order an Uber anywhere around the globe, you select where you want to go, price is quoted, and you get in, and 5 minutes later the ride shows up and
exactly
drops you off.
Yeah, they will tell similar things like, how many minutes you need to wait, and where we should pick you up and stuff, and the estimation typically how long you will be arriving the location target about. So it's very simple.
If I didn't, let's pretend that I didn't know you and I traveled to China, would I be able to take an Apollo Go, or is there specific, credit card or apps that you need and things like that?
Oh, I think you can take it, but you definitely need to provide your credit card.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm based in US, so I do travel in China. So actually, you can be able to make your credit card connect to at least some of the local with a payment. Then you can collect. Or sometimes they even offer complete the authorized the foreign credit card. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, I think one thing you also mentioned about China being a unique market and very adaptable. I'm no expert on China, but I think I've definitely heard very similar that, a lot of folks, have seen a lot of rapid change in China over the past 10, 20, 30 years. And I think that's very interesting in terms of autonomy, because one of the areas that I'm skeptical of with autonomous adoption in the US is right now you have all the early adopters, right? All the tech fans, San Francisco, Waymo is doing great. Everybody loves the product, but it's a very tech forward city, right? They embraced Uber, they embraced Lyft, all sorts of technology. I guess I think when they start getting to the average rideshare customer in the United States, the person who, doesn't really care about Waymos or AVs, they just want to get a ride for the cheapest and most reliable price. I think there's going to be more challenges getting them to get into an AV, right? And then, hey, maybe there's certain trips, like you said, right? They can't go to all parts of the city. That's kind of annoying if I'm used to calling, an Uber or a Didi, and, I just go wherever I want to go. Now I have to, they can't go on freeways. So this type of trip, is going to be much slower, right? So what do you think about that kind of average ride hail customer in China? Do you think that will be less of an issue because they've been adapting so quickly to technological change over the years?
I think your question is very validated. Yeah. I think that's will, as the technology evolving in the future, those things will be solved. And also any of the new technology enter to the market, we'll see in what you said is early adapters who is always, any new technology they try and they like it. And once you really get into the mainstream, like the majority of the consumer, that means technology is established. I definitely think this technology in the very early stage, they haven't reached to that. But there are a couple of the features this vehicle, a driverless vehicle can deliver in this special market. First thing is safety. And with our currently with the deliver performance, and we see 10x safer than the human driver. And we also have data because each vehicle is similar. The government regulation require you to purchase pretty high insurance for each vehicle. Each vehicle we covered by 5 million yuan. So with that, but the
5 million of what?
Rent per vehicle. Yeah, for the insurance coverage.
US dollars?
No, it's Chinese yuan. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, but that's it's much higher than if you just personal vehicle for the insurance. So we have very good coverage, and with this good coverage, but the auto insurance have all the data, right? We've been operating not 1 year, many years, right? So they have this data, and they already told us our claim for accident is 1/14. So it's only 7%. That means human driver have 14x more of accident than the driver's vehicle. So which is that's a significant data to prove the point is safer. Second, you have a quiet ride. You have an enjoyable ride by yourself. And you're right, maybe some people, early adopter maybe carry it, really important. And also in the sixth generation, we actually providing massage chair. It's very enjoyable. If we in the
Oh,
AI,
massage chair. Okay,
yeah.
I've
Was
heard
very
about the famous massage chair in the Apollo Go ride-hail vehicles. That does sound nice.
Yeah, very, very relaxing. So we
Mhm.
bring more features into the vehicle, so make the passenger more comfortable. Another really top thing, all of them is really because the vehicle is built for autonomous riding. So we have all those safety, redundant steering, braking, and function safety, all those things built in. And on top of that one, we actually, all the vehicle design focus on passenger only. All the vehicle in the past is driver focus only, right? A lot of times it's just driver only driving the vehicle. So the driver centric of the design is different than the passenger centric design. And because of that, so the passenger people on the vehicle, they can feel it. It's not like they just get the ride. The driver, will take you from point A to point B. It's on the hand you feel, oh, this is all my space, and they design everything centric for you. And also we bring this capability to a lot of disabilities, and like we have voice recognition and also voice interaction with all the vehicle command, everything. You can ask them to close the door, open the windows, and music, everything. So in this way, we can address a lot more people. And also we're pet friendly. We allow you to bring your dog, cats, and welcome to be in the vehicle. And then they're very enjoyable into this kind of ride. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is one thing that I've seen and heard about the Apollo Go, especially this RT6 vehicle, which I think is your latest one. There's a video, which I think you spoke on a panel with her, with Sophia Tung, where she sort of went through a test drive and highlighted a lot of these cool features. We'll leave a link to that in the show notes if anyone wants to take a look. But, the massage chairs, the voice interaction with the vehicle, I believe it's automatic doors that open and close, when you get in and out. And so there's really a lot of features. But one thing you mentioned that I'm really interested in is you said passenger centric, right? So is this a purpose built? Who is the manufacturer of this vehicle? Did you Apollo Go worked with, a supplier or OEM to develop this vehicle in a passenger centric way?
Yes. We complete the ground up customized to make it passenger, in the user experience side, we make it passenger centric. And in with the vehicle side, technology foundations, we make this vehicle autonomous driving ready, which is have a lot of feature built in to ensure the safety.
Yeah. Well, I think that is very powerful because I've seen data on vehicles in the US, for example, that say that the front seat is actually a lot safer than the back, right? Because if you look at the data, obviously, when you own a vehicle, you're usually driving in the front. There's usually only one or two people. You're in the front seat. Obviously, with ride-hail and autonomous vehicles, it's basically the opposite. There's usually at least one in the back, and if not more. So I think that passenger-centric design, not only, it has a lot of the creature comforts, but when you talk about safety, maybe there's the initial safety of the AV, but even in the future, if or when there are crashes, I think there's potential safety benefits just because of how the vehicle was designed. Now, I don't think there's a single company in the United States that has really launched in, even remotely wide scale, a passenger-centric design vehicle for ride-hail or AV. So talk to me a little bit about how you were able to do this with Apollo Go and so quickly. And I think I see that the vehicle costs $30,000 US, which is extremely affordable. So talk a little bit about when you started working on this development, how you're able to get it so quickly and get the cost down such an affordable price point.
Yeah, this is a really good point. We're in a very tough market. As I mentioned, in China, the cost of, taxi driver, actually the price I gave to is a major city like Beijing, Shanghai, and Shenzhen, Guangzhou, those big cities. If you go to countryside, rural side, it's cheaper than that price.
Wow.
So, and we have delivered technology is, at least more efficient and better than human driver, right? So the cost have be lower that. That's actually all the motivation we have to drive, deliver this technology to that. It's never easy
So you
task.
sort of like you have to have the vehicle at this price point, otherwise it won't be anywhere near competitive.
Yes, and otherwise it's not a commercial business, right?
Yeah.
It will be a scientific business, knowledge development. And I think the a good scientific technology development always a foundation for commercialization, and learn to bring the technology to broader consumers, not just to yourself. So, which is able to make it accessible to all the consumers. We have to bring down the price. It's really a tough task.
Yeah.
And in the past, we starting with a lot of our development, trying to lower the cost. Compared to last generation, we actually have 60% cost reduction. And to get this to this level, it's never trivial. That's why we build everything ground up. From ground up, we can consider what the key features we needed, and we always preserve safety as our first principle. And with that, and then we build the vehicle and also the autonomous driving suite, which is including you bring the AI computing systems and also variety of sensors like your eye, you smell, you sense, and then you can go to get LiDAR, variety of LiDAR, radar, camera, all those sensor navigation system working together. So in this way, on top of that one, we also have in-house built a complete ADFM, autonomous driving vision model. So deliver this, overall performance. With all that, we actually be able to focus on the cost, on the critical areas, as I mentioned, like product safety and the user experience, and significant lower the overall total vehicle, autonomous driving vehicle cost. And
where are the vehicles manufactured?
Oh, we are manufactured in China. We manufactured in Jiangling,
Jiangling. And for example, on the RT6, can you give sort of a rough timeline? When was the vehicle sort of started developing? When was the first one, I'm just kind of curious, how long does it take basically to maybe not design, because you've already had some iterations before, but you're working, but it's 1 year to sort of design, 1 year to start producing, or what's the timeline typically look like for these vehicles that you're building?
Yeah, I would say 2 to 3 years.
2 to 3 years to
2 to 3 years, and
design and start manufacturing.
I would say can be, under SOP, start the production. Yeah, we just start production. We already have more than, a few hundred of made already, pass through variety of the gate to testing all the validations. It's really tight. Actually, typically vehicle traditional, those like a 5-year pipe, we are more than half of that. Yeah, only double speed. Yeah, it's really, it's very demanding market, and technology evolves very fast. On top of that, look at the AI technology. The evolution of those AI compute is roughly about 2 years. Everything, the cycle, the cost of those cheaper, and you have to catch up the similar speed. And also in China, we have pretty good manufacturer advantage as well with mature supply chain, so we can be able, further reduce the cost. Yeah.
Do you think I mean, I think it's interesting too for, companies, especially in the US, right? If you're going out here and doing it for $30K, I think there's a lot of room for them. I think it kind of highlights that there's a lot of room for them to bring down the cost. It's been, the Jaguar I-Pace that Waymo uses is a luxury vehicle. I mean, the MSRP, right? The suggested retail price is $75,000 US just of the car. And then I think it's been reported that there's another $100,000 of LiDAR and sensors and things like that. So obviously it's at a, 5-6x price point compared to your vehicle. What does the sort of sensor and camera stack look like on your vehicle specifically, on the RT6?
Yeah, we have a variety of LiDARs and sensors, the LiDAR coverage all the surrounding, all in 360s, and also for variety of cameras, and also have complete, focus on the front end of coverage for the far side, like traffic light. And we also have the surrounding coverage all over the, the vehicle. And also we have the fish eyes cover all the blind zones coverage. And also we have a variety of radars. And also we have a navigation system. And all our designs have the built-in redundancy and functional safety in mind in all the designs. And also of course, we have our computation system and to incorporate all the connector, all the sensors and back to calculation, and also carry on the most advanced ADFM algorithm to be able to deliver this technology. So further expanding our capabilities, extending from one locations to more broader for the global expansion. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think there's more opportunity? Are you guys focused more on reducing the cost of the car? I don't know if you can get it much lower, or is it more about, sort of maybe introducing new vehicle types or, improving the existing vehicle? What are you sort of thinking about, like in terms of the vehicle right now? What's the opportunity for you?
Okay, it's a good question. Actually, I feel eventually the price will continue going down. The
Continue
reason,
going down.
we will continue going down as the technology evolving. because the computation cost for per TOPS is continue going down.
Yeah.
As well as the sensor cost is also continued going down. And also as we mentioned, in the next few years, we expanding from a few of the 500,000 unit and to multiple million unit. As the volume increase, also the price will continue drive down.
Good point.
So with all that I think it will be continuing doing that. And also with generalization of the capability, and we thinking it will also the capability of the vehicle and AI technology will continue evolving too. So those all of them will shift together to change it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned expansion. Obviously, it sounds like there's some real benefits to expanding the fleet and the cost structure, not only within China, but other markets. How are you thinking about the opportunities, basically, to kind of grow either within China, the existing markets, and balancing that? I know the Middle East, it's been reported, it seems like that's a big opportunity there. You've announced a couple, upcoming launches there, Hong Kong. How are you thinking about maybe some of these specific opportunities and launches?
Okay. That's actually, we're talking about the Hong Kong market, right? The Hong Kong market is about is they open pave the way for us for the right-hand drive, right? Live traffic market and showcase our ability to adapt our autonomous driving technology to fundamentally different traffic systems while maintaining rigorous safety standards. And because 1/3 market globally is in this market, I think it's really to untap market opportunity worth addressing. Yeah. Well, you also mentioned we also have continued scaling rapidly in China. We're operating in over 10 cities, and we also see significant opportunity in other markets. Like you mentioned, the Middle Easterns, and they stand out as very promising region. Many Gulf countries actually are making bold movement toward smart transportation. So they have, the regulations and the government completely embracing it. I think the combination, the progress of the government support and dense urban environmental create ideal setting for autonomous driving vehicle deployment. So in AE, we see strong alignment between our mission and the country's ambitions vision for the future mobility. Yeah. And also we definitely will focus on, China market. And we actually will not just prioritize one or the other. Whenever a right conditions or partnership are in the place, we will evaluate each market based on the opportunity and regulation readiness and user demand. And we are exciting potential both at home and abroad. Another thing is I recently just come back from Move 2025. I also, UK announced the APS, automated passenger service, and they accelerated their deployment. They are now allowed the 18 months pilot program for autonomous driving. It can be driverless and with paid service and the scale operation. So with this 18 months of the pilot program, they want to accelerating their skilled commercialization in the second half 2027. And also just last week, and the US, NASA just approved passing the regulation in US. Now they allow each manufacturer to make complete autonomous driving ready vehicle, which could be no steering wheel, no speed pedals, and then this vehicle to be on the public road, they get permission per vehicle, 2,500 vehicle per manufacturer per year. That's a very significant move. I can see the global government and the policies really have bring up all the capability to make this technology to have more broader address to all the consumers.
Yeah, no, that's a helpful breakdown of the kind of international opportunities, why people are focusing on the Middle East right now. It sounds like the government support, maybe money, maybe regulation, and the dense urban population. I guess the one market that, I'm in, the United States, are there plans to launch in the US, or what are some of the challenges that you see, now, or is it opportunity in the future?
I think China, US is a greater market. And, everybody want to in this market. Nobody want to in this market. But the market's huge now, right? Yeah, we have so many of the city expansion already. So we will see whenever there's a policy embracement and anything ready, we will definitely enter in this market. Globalization, you actually, in terms to get a faster adaptation in globally, we're seeking for the collaboration with all the partners.
Hmm.
not just start with a loan. If you want to expanding it, you need to seeking the local partnership and be able to work together and jointly to build technology. That's actually the key, because autonomous driving, including too many field in the overall the transportation is a big field. Has so many players, right? The polo provider, the tier 2, tier 1, and everybody, and the corporation, and even the operation, right? You can have the mobility service and also the fleet management. There are a variety different of way to providing. And might mean for the local company has their specialty in certain field, and they can be, if we can all work together, that's how we can this technology available to the consumer sooner and quicker.
I definitely feel like, there's a lot of work to go around. And so, kind of embracing partners is smart. Is there anything that Apollo Go is doing that's unique or stands out, in your work with partners? I think the one thing you mentioned, obviously, kind of designing a purpose-built vehicle, I think that stands out to me. Is there anything else that you think gives you guys a unique advantage?
Oh, I think also our, we already have more than 170 million kilometer public road autonomous driving testing.
Mhm.
And also we have provided more than 11 million paid ride and
Mhm.
public ride. All those is already showing you, and also we have no major accident.
Yeah.
And so that's actually is the trust, and we build into with everybody, and all those every single kilometer autonomous driving road test never wasted.
Yeah.
All the technology, we really harvest all the learnings and build that into our technology. With all that, I think that's kind of how we unique. That's way more unique than vehicle unique design. And that's actually the thing why we've been in this 12 years ago, starting on
Mhm.
this very, very long journey. And to focus and consistent effort and to be able to reach today's achievement. It's not a small path. It's a
Yeah.
huge, it's including so many engineers working on this and to achieve this today's,
Definitely.
but yeah.
No, I think the results have been quite impressive. So, my last question for you, I'm kind of curious to know what's one thing that keeps you up at night, Helen? That when you're thinking about all of this opportunity, what's sort of that one challenge where you think that, oh, we really need to solve this? Is it, more around, consumer demand? Will people want to take these, in the millions and billions? Is it regulatory costs? What's that, if you kind of had to pinpoint one area where you think the company, is facing a challenge or headwinds that, you kind of want to solve in the future?
Yeah, I think we'll continue seeing the technology advancement and the AI technology evolving very fast.
Hmm.
So things I think we'll see the technology will continue changing, and also will continue embracing the latest technology development in AI. And as I saw with the AI development, all the surrounding the hardware to supporting the AI development in terms of sensors, in terms of the AI computing, so things will as well continue evolving as well, and to make it ready. So that's things we are continue to follow up the technology. I would say
Hmm.
this way, even today, we achieved complete citywide driverless technology. But
Yeah.
if you see 5 years down the road or 10 years down the road, it can be different technology. It can be different things, more efficient, more cost
Yeah.
efficient. But we still deliver similar things to the consumer. Like you said, we want to have more consumer to adapt to it. It's never an easy one, right?
Yeah.
Also, we want seeking all levels collaboration with all the partnerships. And no matter you are mobility service providers, local taxi companies, or fleet operators, so be able to scale together and bring the flexibility to accelerating the growth. As well, actually, I can mention one of the things we tried actually in China.
Hmm.
We actually trying very diversified partnership to enable more of the compatible of the solution and quicker and sooner deliver to consumer. Actually, we announced the strategic partnership with Car Inc. in May to introduce a fully autonomous vehicle rental service.
Oh,
Instead,
cool.
this kind of, red hill business, they
Hmm.
promote business. So this first one kind of the country and beyond, this service can allow users to reserve autonomous driving vehicle in advance to travel to a range of destinations, including culture, landmark, urban tourist attractions. So they can aim offer this kind of spontaneous on-demand mobility while also providing a transportation option for those who are able to find inconvenient to drive. So which
Yeah.
is that thing is things we try to develop different business model or enable whoever have a more creative idea to deliver this driverless technology to the broader consumers or some unique unique consumers, like the elderly or
Yeah,
the disadvantaged. So definitely looking at this market, and hopefully we can, work with them together and bring this thing up.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, I appreciate you coming on the podcast and sharing all of this great information about Apollo Go. I'm excited to make my first trip to China at some point and experience the vehicle. Maybe you'll have the RT7 out by the time I get there. But really appreciate you coming on, Helen, and excited to see Apollo Go continue to grow in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Harry. It was a great pleasure talking with you. Thank you. Bye-bye.